Hello. Hi. So let's start. Welcome, everybody. Uh, there's also a YouTube link which I sent. We are live on that also. And I would like Chitnaji to give a brief introduction of Michael.
Thank you, Vikas. Hi, Michael. Can we see you live? First of all, it's a pleasure to see you live.
You can see me live. I just had to.
Right. So yeah, I can say so much about Mikey. I hope Mikey, you don't mind me calling you Mikey instead of Michael.
What else
I
would you
feel
call
close
me?
to you. So Mikey's been my first Art of Silence teacher, and he's an amazing teacher, and it's a pleasure to be on his course. Apart from the depth of the knowledge and experience, he has such a rich experience. He's hilarious and he keeps you like laughing so much. So it's really amazing to be on his course. And we've not had him much in the East Coast in the last few years. So let's not miss this opportunity to be with him. And Mikey has been the president of Art of Living for many years. And he's also the author of Stumbling into Infinity, like most of us know. And he's also been the teacher of teachers. He's taken the TTC, the teachers program, for many, many years. And he just knows how to bring out the best in everybody. So without much ado, Mikey, we want to hear from you. And if I can request you to first explain or like just share a little bit about how your journey with Art of Living began and how you all of this has helped you. We'd love to hear all of that.
Well, thanks, Chetna. It's nice to be here. I'm not used to doing these Google chats, so I hope I don't make a mistake somehow. I assume mostly everybody who's on the call is in New Jersey. Is that correct?
There
Yes.
will be others. I think I see some people from Raleigh, somebody from the West Coast also.
Okay.
There are from other places too.
And there are a few more people on YouTube whom we cannot see here. So.
Oh, well, hi, all you people on YouTube. So, you know, for many, many years, well, let me just start a little further back. When I first started with Art of Living, the first course that I took was in California, in Santa Monica, California. And that's where I lived, and that's where I spent a lot of time with Guruji in the very beginning. And then being a full-time teacher, I wound up traveling all over the world. And most recently, within the last year, I wound up coming back to California, where I'm living now. And living here, I really enjoy going to the beach. So I don't know if you have the same experience on the East Coast as we do on the West Coast, but many people here on the West Coast spend time surfing. I don't surf, but I like to watch the surfers. And what I've noticed about surfing is there's a lot of time that people spend in the ocean waiting. They're just waiting for a wave, just for that wave to come. And sometimes the waves are short, sometimes the waves are really long, some high, some low. And the skill in riding the wave is manipulating yourself on the surfboard with balance. It's all about balance. If you're able to balance yourself really, really well, then you're riding the wave through to the end. Again, whether it's a short wave or a long wave, it's all about your balance. And isn't that what we're all trying to do in our life? It's all about balance. And it's that skill of riding the wave. And many times we're just waiting for the next event to happen, the next emotional distress, the next catastrophe that goes on in our mind. And it's that skill that's really required that allows us to go through life. And that skill we're really getting from Guruji. All these different programs that Guruji puts out, whether it's Hollow and Empty or Sudarshan Kriya or Chakra Kriya or Shakti Kriya or whatever the program is, the knowledge series, all of that gives us the skill, the balance to go through life in such a graceful way. So I think we're really, really extremely lucky and extremely fortunate that, first of all, having Guruji in our lives, and also to have that ability to look at ourselves and watch our mind and have some say over our mind and our emotions so we can be more balanced, more skillful in life. That's it from my side. Some questions?
Awesome. Yes.
Vikas, are you there?
Yeah. So I received few questions in the email, and I'll read one by one. So first thing is, what is Chakra Kriya? If you can please explain.
Chakra Kriya is a Kriya that incorporates chakras. Come and do it and you'll see it. It's like the next step in Sudarshan Kriya. You could say it completes the Sudarshan Kriya experience. And I don't think anybody should miss that.
That was the next question. How is it different from Sudarshan Kriya?
It's different. Otherwise, it would be called Sudarshan Kriya.
Right. The next question I have is there a home practice for Chakra Kriya?
Yes.
Right. And we have a lot of people who are coming for the first time for Art of Silence. So can you explain what is this course about?
The Art of Silence course.
Yes.
Oh, it's amazing. It really is a science that we're learning on the Art of Silence course. We know that every emotion has a corresponding rhythm to the breath. And every emotion also has a corresponding sensation within our body. When we get angry, we experience it in a certain place. And when we feel fear, we experience that in a certain place. But most of the time, we're oblivious to the sensations that are going on in our body. And during the silence course, we learn not on an intellectual level, but on an experiential level about the various sensations in the body and how the breath corresponds with that. And through the power of observation, through the power of awareness and consciousness, we're able to break up these old impressions that prevent us from really being free and light in our life. So it's an amazing science that we learn. We can call it the true yogic science. And one has to really experience it. It can't be something you learn by watching a video. It can't be something you read in a book. It's something that you really have to experience. And there are three aspects to the complete Art of Living experience. One is Sudarshan Kriya. The second one is the silence course and hollow and empty meditation. And the third one is Sahaj Samadhi meditation. Once you've done all three of those courses, then you really have a great launching pad for moving ahead in Art of Living and in your life.
All right. So people on YouTube, you can leave the comments there if you have any questions, and I can read those out. And the next question I have is, when was the Chakra Kriya introduced?
I don't know exactly, but oh, I do remember. We were in Shivaratri probably 2 years ago, well, maybe 3 years ago. And Guruji just did it spontaneously with everybody. So there were probably 80,000 people who got to experience it live for the first time. And since then, it's been in courses with Guruji. And now there's some very powerful, very unique, very special, warm, loving, incredible teachers who are teaching this.
Right.
And I am one of them.
Yes, we have the pleasure of having you. And
don't ask me a hard question. Give me an easy one.
Yeah, I'm just going to go on YouTube and see. questions. All right. Okay. The other question I have is, why did Guruji introduce Chakra Kriya?
You have to ask that one to Guruji.
Sure.
But clearly, he is giving us all these different techniques, all these different modalities, various knowledge that he discusses. It's all for us, to help us. Many of us are stuck in many different ways. The mind is a very complicated thing. So, from almost every angle, he is giving us various tools to just make us lighter, freer.
Good. All right. For the viewers, I would like to tell the course is coming up from November 3rd to 6th here in Medicine Center with Michael. And the links are all on our Out of Living Medicine page. Let's see. All right. Chitna, any questions you have?
Yeah, Mikey, would you care to share some experience which you had with Guruji, some story which is coming up for you right now, which might be relevant for us? I know you have a whole bag full of these stories. We would love to hear.
You'll have to come on the advanced course, on the silence course, to hear those stories.
I have a teaser, one of them here.
Teaser. Nothing's coming to my mind right now. Sorry.
Okay.
If you want a teaser, there's this amazing book that you could read. It's called Stumbling into Infinity, and there are many, many stories there.
Can you share the story about how you met Guruji for the first time? Just to give you a reminder.
How did I meet Guruji for the first time? I met Guruji for the first time in 1988 in Fairfield, Iowa. So there's an ashram there, Maharishi International University. Actually, it's a school and an ashram. And Guruji came with Maharishi as a Vedic Pandit to chant Rig Veda. And it was probably just a couple of days past Christmas, just before New Year's. And it was freezing outside. It must have been about 30 below zero with the wind chill factor. And many of us were bundled up in warm parkers and hats and gloves and boots. And we were standing outside watching these three pundits chant Rig Veda. And because the walls of the structure hadn't been completed yet, so we were all outside. And there was one Vedic Pandit who had hair maybe just below his ears and a pencil-thin mustache. He didn't have a beard yet or anything. And he had these beautiful almond-shaped eyes. And he was chanting while everybody else on the stage was freezing. And I was just amazed that he was able to chant and not be affected by the cold. And for some reason, my heart went out to him. I wanted to jump on the stage and put a shawl on him or a blanket. And I was just touched by him. And later that day, I was going to the meditation hall, and I saw that same Pandit again. They were being driven around the campus in a huge car, and I met his eyes. And I just started to cry. I had no idea who he was or why I was having that cathartic experience, but I was just crying from my heart, very deep. And afterwards, I went to the meditation hall, and I had a very deep meditation. And it was 7 or 8 years later that I met that same Pandit. In fact, in those days, we would refer to him as Panditji, but now we all know him as Guruji. And he came to Santa Monica to teach the Art of Living course, Sudarshan Kriya. And it all started from there.
Wow, that was beautiful. Mikey, jumping on from there, my next question or request for you would be, like, can you give some suggestions as seekers on this path? so many different courses which Art of Living offers. So can you give us some advice or suggestions? You've been on this path for so long. As to how
I think I alluded to that already. I think you should take, you, meaning everybody who's watching, should take every course because Guruji is bringing this knowledge out for us in this time. It's not 100 years in the past. It's not 100 years in the future. It's now for us, for all of us. And each technique, each knowledge session, each opportunity to be with Guruji or any of the courses or programs that he's created is so unique and so precious. I wouldn't miss one. I wouldn't think one is more important than another is important. Clearly, the first three programs in the Art of Living experience, one should definitely go through those. And then every program that's available, I would say, jump on it.
I have another question from Bhavish. His question is, how does the silence course help in everyday life?
Because you're enriched with stillness. You know, today the buzzword in meditation is mindfulness. But mindfulness winds up being a intellectual experience. It's like the mind is watching the mind. But unless you have an anchor, unless you have an experience of being, an experience of stillness or consciousness, mindfulness is just a concept. And also evolution is just a concept. So during the silence course, there is such a wonderful opportunity to go inward. The entire course is about guided meditation. You spend a lot of time in meditation. And that stillness leaves with you when you leave the course. And you have an opportunity for self-reflection. So you're not so entangled in your emotions or into the day-to-day drama of everyday life. Does that make sense? I hope so.
Yes, it does.
Great.
Mikey, can you share your experience of how your first Out of Silence course was and how your first Chakra Kriya experience was?
Oh, my first Chakra Kriya experience was very, very profound. I really loved it. And in fact, I look forward to teaching a Chakra Kriya course because then I get to do it with everybody. So definitely. And my first silence course was very profound. It was much longer. It was an 11-day silence course. So you can imagine the depth of silence during that period of time. Yes, and I feel very fortunate. I get to take a silence course every time I'm teaching it. So I can do it sometimes twice a month, which I think is extraordinary. Anything else?
So just to remind everybody again, we're very lucky to have Mikey over in New Jersey, in Metuchen, November 3rd to 6th. We have the Art of Silence as well as the Chakra Kriya with silence. We're offering both at the same time. This opportunity, definitely share with everybody you know and request everybody and you yourself to join us too. Vikas, do you have any other questions?
That's all.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing everybody over the weekend when we're doing the silence course. I'm really hoping to see everybody.
Right.
There's one small
just
question.
one last question.
Okay.
How many times a year one should do a silence course? Please advise.
It depends on the individual and your stress level, but I would say a minimum of twice a year. Once a year, you should do it with one of the silence course teachers like myself when we come into the local community. And I also think you should do one silence course when Guruji is around. So I'd say a minimum of twice a year.
Twice a year, got it.
Wonderful. Very nice being with all of you. Looking forward to seeing you all very soon.
All right.
Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev. Thank you very much, Michael, for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, Vikas.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Thanks.
Thank you all.